Well, my name is Jordan Fridal. On the internet, I go by Simple Thinker. On Instagram, Simple Thinker Lego. Otherwise, you get taken to some sort of funny meditation account. A handful of years ago, I don't know if you remember Steve Peterson.
Yeah.
May he rest in peace. He had brought a handful of Star Wars craft that had World War II components on them, like an X-Wing with propellers and a Y-Wing with D-Day colors, that sort of thing, because Star Wars was always intertwined with World War II right from the very beginning, in the way they designed the spaceships and the way they filmed the dogfights, everything. And so I like the idea of combining the two, and I just decided to invert it. He had Star Wars ships with airplane parts on it, so I decided to make airplanes with Star Wars parts on them. And so it just kind of went from there, and I've been adding them little bit by little bit over time. Each one of them I try to align to the factions the best I can, and I usually look at craft that have at least a vaguely, if not perfectly aligning role. So fighters with fighters, bombers with bombers, that sort of thing. The first one I did was the P-61/B-Wing there in the back. And probably my favorite one of the three of 11, that because of the name, because of the nose art that I had commissioned for it, the princess. Since then, I've added like 2 or 3 a year. The other thing of note, unless you want me to go into them one by one, is the P-51 Mustang X-Wing and the FW-190 TIE Advanced were actually a collaboration between me and another gentleman that's here at this show, goes by the name of Brick Squadron. His name's Nathan Cragen. He primarily does airplanes. And at the time, I was not confident enough to handle the sleek curves of a P-51 Mustang. And so I had him do the body, and I added the Star Wars parts onto it. And that turned out so well, he decided to make his into a regular full Mustang, and gave it the decals and livery of a real-life aircraft from the war. The next year, he decided, I'm going to go ahead and do an FW-190, and not just any, but a specific real one that particular P-51 shot down.
Oh.
So I'm like, well, could you give me the body for that one too? So I made it. He made his FW-190, and I made my TIE 190. And actually, just earlier today, we managed to get pictures of all 4 of them together. 2 pairs of aircraft, not in a dogfight or anything, but it was pretty cool for the both of us to see all of them together.
Yeah, I think it's a super fun, just like unique idea here, kind of taking military and Star Wars, which we see a lot of those separately, but together is very unique. So it would be great to hear more kind of your general approach when you have an aircraft in mind. How do you start kind of forming the idea of like, this is the elements I'll take from Star Wars, this is the elements I'll take from the real plane, and kind of that design approach?
The general design approach is fairly simple. It goes the same way as uglies in the Star Wars universe, parts from one thing tacked onto another. And so I'll take an aircraft that I want to do and usually go in order of importance from the most iconic, the ones that I know, that other people know, and then kind of go down the line unless there's a Star Wars ship that I want to do first, and then I kind of decide whatever airplane happens to work with it, whether everybody knows it or not. Then I run through the list of the Star Wars ships that are faction aligned and that have a at least similar role, and just kind of flip through them in my brain, taking the engines and wings of the Star Wars craft and sticking them on the body and flip through them until one of them, that might be a good combo. Then I'll make the body of the aircraft first. Usually the nose, if it's rounded, is my scale limiter. And then I'll add the Star Wars components on later. Most of them align the roles pretty well. For example, the Mitsubishi Zero and the TIE Fighter, you wouldn't normally think that would be a good combo, but when you think about the fact that both of them are paper tigers, fast, but one good shot and they go kaboom, and, for the Emperor Banzai, it just ended up working. I think my favorite of the ones, I mentioned my absolute favorite was the first one, the P-61. But the one that turned out probably the best in general is the TIE Bomber. That one, I had to take what I just described and kind of fudge it a little. Not every plane, not every Star Wars ship, the roles align. And so the Me-110 was a heavy fighter, but it also on occasion acted as a light bomber. And I wanted to do the German bomber with the Hyena droid because it's just too curvy for a TIE bomber. So that's what I was left with. I tell you what, getting that thing to balance on a stand is a pain in the neck because the center of gravity is actually way in the middle out in space. So that was a trick.
Yeah, and the way you display these is really neat too. So what are these stands you're using? How do you display these?
Primarily, I use stands from Tricked Out Bricks. It's an operation out here in Utah, but they sell them at Bricks and Minifigs and online. But the tall ones, actually, I had him custom make for me a couple of years ago. But since then, he's actually taken that design and made him a full offering on his website, 8-inch and 10-inch tall pedestals. The only exception is that P-61 B-Wing has a custom brick-built stand that, do you remember Joe Chambers' Skylab bricks? He redesigned the internals of that plane so that it could incorporate that stand for me. I wouldn't have been able to otherwise.
No, they're all really, really impressive designs. And I saw you also have instructions on Rubicable, so if people want to build these themselves, that's an option?
Absolutely. They also come with printable PDF versions of the cockpit decals, which I did by hand to begin with, but then I just peeled them up, put them in a scanner, and made up a printable version, so you just have to stick printer paper in your printer and cut them out, and away you go.
Perfect. Are you always looking for new ideas? If people want to comment, maybe a plane or a Star Wars, spaceship that they think would work for a good design, or do you have any in mind that you're planning to work on?
Well, I'm always open to suggestions, because at the moment I actually have enough planned out that by the time I'm done, there will be 24.
Okay.
But some of them I'm a little iffy on, so I'll probably put them off. So if somebody comes up with a better idea for those later, I'll take it. But I have a handful of good solid ones. The next couple, kind of a spoiler that I wanted to, is I paired the Vulture droid with the Stuka dive bomber in the desert camo, so that it's in the kind of more like the Episode 1 Vulture droid, so that I could pair it in a dogfight with the Spitfire Naboo N1 over there. Then maybe an SBD Dauntless after that.
Okay. We'll look forward to that. Thank you for taking us through all the builds here. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy them.